Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So Solana, I've taken the micro count off the chart because it's chopping around too much. So the idea is that we could be working actually here on some kind of an Elliott wave triangle. That is what I'm tracking now, given that we've pulled a little bit too low for the previously communicated orange count. It also looks very strange. We don't really have enough waves in place for a triangle pattern yet, but it's still, I think, worth tracking. I think it's still worth covering that scenario that we might indeed be working on this on this Elliott wave triangle potentially. So let's put that on the chart together, and then we can take a look at what should happen and in which direction it should eventually break out. But it's not a reliable scenario, but obviously a wave 4 can always be a triangle, and we're just moving up down in corrective structure. So whenever we are dealing with back-to-back corrective price action, that is something to consider. At least that's going to be my thesis until we see a breakout from this triangle. I've got an A wave here, I've got a B wave here. We might currently be working on a C wave. Don't think it's complete yet necessarily. Then a D wave. Oops, I chose the wrong tool. Then a D wave and an E wave. So let's label that again. A, B, C, D, E. And it would be wave 4. And that might be, or that might mean if it's really a triangle, we might never see that orange support region down there. And it could mean that we are dealing with a few more boring weeks before this gets resolved. Important is to keep this triangle count alive, that the price does not break below $119. It could still be a wave 4 in that case, but not as an Elliott wave triangle anymore, because that's the invalidation point for the triangle. Yeah, and then to label the subwaves, I mean, this A wave was likely an ABC structure itself. I had that labeled before. This move up would be a WXY pattern. So we had here WXY. The C wave, which is now moving down, also it just seems to be a complex correction. So I'm also looking at potentially a WXY pattern. Now we need to be careful that we don't do too much micro counting here, because it's just not reliable. But WXY, and then we are, as per this scenario, probably in wave Y, and the Y wave itself is an A, B, C structure. Actually, I just noticed I need to change the wave degree then of these subwaves. Otherwise, we get confused with the waves within waves. Yeah, and so at the moment that might mean that we're dealing here with the Y wave down. We also only have 3 waves up from the Tuesday low. So my idea is that there's a good chance to come down in wave C now. Primary count would be that the B wave has topped, but let's just zoom in a minute. If we talk about standard resistance, this was already tested. So that's the standard resistance. Any break above 168.37 would now indicate that maybe something a little bit different is going on. That C wave is basically outstanding. Invalidation point for this micro pattern within the C wave of the triangle is a break above the X wave high at $175.50. And I mean, an alternative perspective could be that this B wave in yellow is still unfolding, right? So it takes a break below the $145 level pretty much to confirm wave C to the downside is unfolding. Until then, of course, it could be that this B wave is still unfolding, but we're basically just moving, back to back, in these corrective structures. So there isn't any clear impulse, 3 waves down, 3 waves up. This also looks like a 3-wave move down. Even with 1 more low, it looks like a WXY structure. Then we could get this D wave and an E wave. So it could take a while, right? How do we get out of this? Well, a break below $119 would invalidate the triangle to the downside. Or if we get a break above the B wave high, it's also most likely not a triangle. That's just looking at the triangle itself. Obviously, within the C wave of the triangle, we might have to change the microstructure. That would be normal. But the triangle upside breakout point is that B wave high. So I'll give that a green line. And below we have the $119 level. I mean, that is the, you could say, downside breakdown point. Yeah? And to the upside, we've got here 100. Yeah, let's call it, it's the 119 and $190 level. Those are the boundaries of the range of the triangle. And that's what we're looking for, right? It's just too choppy for anything else. If a first 5-wave move emerges into any direction, then we can change it, because within a triangle, we shouldn't see a 5-wave move. But I think we're now dealing with this range, and yeah, it might change. I guess this micro count will change, but it wouldn't change the overall expectation probably, because even to the downside, we still have the wave 4 support area below. It's just that a triangle will rather correct over time rather than price. And I just see these tendencies of a triangle because, well, we are moving just back to back in these 3-wave movements. So I will keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.